Wild animals in the spiritual world. The ancient guardians of energy and instinct. Have you ever gazed into the eyes of a wild animal and felt that something ancient was observing you? That behind that primal gaze lies not just instinct, but wisdom and ancient energy that belongs not to the chaos of the wild, but to a dimension of purity and connection. In the spiritual world, wild animals are more than majestic beings of nature. They are portals, bridges, and messengers of a sacred wisdom that human rationality has forgotten. 1. Wildness as a spiritual state. Wildness is not just the absence of domestication. It is a state of pure connection with the energy of life. A wild animal does not pretend, does not rationalize, does not control. It is, and in this complete presence, it inhabits the now as few humans are able to do. Spiritual traditions around the world speak of wild animals as beings that carry the soul of the earth, Gaia, and act as guardians of energy in sacred territories. Their presence is not random. Each wild animal appears where it is energetically needed, be it to protect, balance, or transform. 2. Animals as gatekeepers between worlds. Have you ever noticed how a wild animal always seems to know when you're watching? How it looks at you without fear, but with clarity, as if it sees not your body, but your soul. In spiritual teachings, wild animals are seen as gatekeepers, guardians of the energy fields that separate dimensions. The howling of a wolf, the roar of a jaguar, the silent glide of an owl through the night are not just expressions of survival. They are vibrations that activate codes in the energetic matrix of the planet. Each of these animals, in its wildness, keeps alive portals that connect the physical world to the spiritual. They do not belong only to forests or mountains. They belong to the invisible realm where instinct meets the divine. 3. Sacred portals of the jungle and the desert and the Amazon. Shamans speak of the jaguar as the guardian of the underworld, a portal to ancestral knowledge. When a jaguar appears in visions or dreams, it is not a random symbol. It is a call to awaken the force that lies dormant in the root of the soul in the desert. The presence of snakes and hawks reveals another sacred dynamic. The snake, with its sinuous body, slithers through the hot earth like a whisper of ancient truth. It is the guardian of transformation and healing. The hawk, with its distant and penetrating gaze, is the eye of spirit that sees beyond illusion. Each sacred land has its own wild protectors, animals that are not just part of the landscape, but the energetic architecture of those places. To see them is a spiritual encounter. For dreams and shamanic journeys. In shamanic traditions, wild animals often appear in dreams and meditative visions. These are not mere mental projections, they are spiritual visits. A bear may come to offer you strength. A panther may call you to awaken your courage. A deer may invite you to soften your heart. These animals, when appearing in altered states of consciousness, carry messages that bypass the mind and reach the soul. They are not just symbols, they are energetic frequencies that interact with your field. Receiving a visit from a wild animal in a dream is a sign that a spiritual portal is opening inside you, calling you to a deeper transformation. 5. The lion's spiritual power and solar energy. The lion, known as the king of the jungle, has always represented power and divine authority. In ancient Egypt, the lion was associated with the goddess Sekhmet, a being of fire and healing. She was not only a destroyer of evil but a bearer of sacred light. Spiritually, the lion invites you to reconnect with your sovereignty, to take back the throne of your inner kingdom. Its presence in dreams or visions may indicate that it is time to lead your life from the heart, not from fear. The roar of the lion, in the invisible world, is a vibrational wave that cleanses stagnant energies and reawakens dormant souls. 6. Wolves, loyalty, spirit packs. An intuition. The wolf is one of the most mystical wild animals in the spiritual world. It is the symbol of inner guidance, loyalty to the soul, and the call of the wild within each of us. Spiritually, wolves walk between worlds. They guide lost spirits, protect sacred paths, and remind us that even in solitude, we are never alone. The spirit pack is always by our side, even if invisible. The howling of the wolf echoes in the spiritual world as a call to return home to yourself, to your essence, to your purpose. Wolves appear when it's time to awaken your inner compass. 7. The elephant. Ancestral wisdom and silent strength. The elephant is a being of earth and memory. Spiritually, it is the guardian of ancestral memory and the protector of energetic roots. In many cultures, the elephant is revered as a spiritual master, one who teaches by example, by silent strength and deep compassion. It represents the ability to overcome obstacles through patience and grounded power. When an elephant appears in your spiritual path, it is time to revisit your ancestral lineage, heal generational wounds, and reclaim your spiritual authority with dignity and wisdom. 8. Wild animals as reflections of inner archetypes. Every wild animal that crosses your spiritual path is an archetype, an aspect of your own consciousness calling to be recognized. When the tiger appears, perhaps your wild courage is ready to rise. When the eagle soars over you, it may be your vision that needs elevation. When the fox hides in silence, it may be time to listen more than to speak. Wild animals do not appear by chance. They reflect your hidden energies, your spiritual potentials, and even your unconscious fears. They are mirrors of the soul. 9. The pain of captivity and the energy of freedom. There is deep spiritual pain when a wild animal is taken from its natural environment. Zoos, circuses, and cages not only confine bodies but suffocate sacred energies. A wild animal in captivity symbolizes the soul trapped in fear, conditioning, and spiritual amnesia. When we look at a caged lion, we are also seeing the image of our own repressed greatness. The spiritual world grieves for each wild animal that loses its freedom, because their presence in nature is not aesthetic, it is energetic. It is part of the living and spiritual intelligence of the earth. 10. Honoring the wild is a sacred ritual. To honor wild animals is to honor the sacred energy that lives untamed within us. It is to recognize that, beyond reason, there is instinct, and instinct is not inferior, but divine. Lighting a candle for a wild animal that has passed, meditating with its image, studying its spiritual meanings, all these are ways of opening inner portals to reconnection. Each wild animal teaches a lesson. Each one carries a key to a forgotten dimension of the human soul. And when we walk with respect, awareness, and love for them, we begin to remember who we are, not just humans, but cosmic beings connected to all of creation. Conclusion. Listening to the call of the wild soul. Wild animals are not just part of nature, they are messengers of the mystery. Their movements are rituals, their instincts are sacred codes, and their presence is a reminder that life is more magical than it appears. To walk a spiritual path is to learn to see beyond the visible. And in every wild animal that crosses your dreams, your meditations, or even your memories, there is a call. Come back to your essence. Trust your instincts. And remember, you too are part of the wild soul of the universe.